Welcome back, mamas. Well, if you are overwhelmed, burnt out, stressed out, if you feel like a hot mess and you're scattered and all over the place, I have two reasons today why you are going to want to say no and why saying no will change your life. I think this is going to be a three-parters because this is so powerful and I cannot wait for you to see this because if you're anything like me, saying no is hard and it can be. And I'm going to give you two reasons why you're going to want to change that thinking. So let's get to it. Do you wish you had control of your days, that you had a rhythm, but instead feel overwhelmed, scattered, and like there's never enough time? You're in the right place. I'm Danielle, a recovering workaholic, wife, and stay-at-home mom of two girls. I've learned how to reclaim my time and find purpose and freedom so I can be present with my kids and feel like myself again. Here, we embrace where we are, but we don't stay there. So if you're ready to trade the chaos for clarity, the guilt for grace, and the endless to-do list for aligned flow, grab the kiddos a snack and toss in that laundry because I know you're multitasking, and let's do this because your time, your purpose, and you matter. Okay, mamas. So I am really excited to share this knowledge that it took me a while to recognize, to realize, and even when I started doing it, I just wasn't comfortable doing it. I'm going to take you back to when I was stressed and burnt out. I just felt so overwhelmed, so much like a hot mess that I didn't know how I was going to get out of what I had gotten into for myself. That's what I felt like. I felt like I was kind of trapped in this life that I had created for myself, that I had designed. I had decided to be a stay-at-home mom, but yet now I was in this stay-at-home mom role and I knew I wanted more for myself. I knew I wanted more, but I just didn't know what that looked like anymore. I tried to pour myself into all of the things that I used to get joy from, things that I used to find that fueled me were now just draining me even more. And I found myself saying yes to everyone and everything, trying to fill that void, trying to get that more, get that happiness, get that fulfillment that I was so missing that I knew I could achieve, but I just didn't really know how. And it wasn't until I started saying no to things that everything changed, okay? And this can change your life. And here's why, okay? There are two huge reasons why saying no will change your life. We're gonna start with a quote, and this is from Paula Colo. I probably am saying this wrong. Paula Colo says, when you say yes to others, make sure you are not saying no to yourself. When you say yes to others, make sure you are not saying no to yourself. And while I thought that I was saying yes to myself by saying yes to others, what I was recognizing is that I was saying no to myself. I really was. I was volunteering. I was taking all of the balls, right? And trying to keep them all in the air at the same time that I was trying to raise my two children. And it just wasn't working. It wasn't working for me. It wasn't working for my family. I felt so much like a hot mess that I just didn't know what to do. I knew there was a better way, but I didn't really recognize what that better way was or how to get there. And it wasn't until I took the time to get clear on what I wanted and why that I recognized that this saying yes to everyone else and not saying no for the reason of like, I am not really a people pleaser. Like, I do like for people to like me, okay? So I definitely like for people to like me, but I am not one who will do things at my own expense or just to get other people to like me. I do not compromise my integrity or my values. I will not compromise my own well-being or my family's well-being. At least this is what I told myself, right? However, what I recognized is that I kind of was doing that. By saying yes to everything, I was compromising my own integrity, what I wanted, what is important to me, what was good for me and my family, not necessarily doing things that weren't aligned with my values, right? They were aligned with the person that I used to be. The person, in a way, there were a lot of things that I was doing that was aligned, but there were so many things that I could have been doing that would have been better suited for where I was at this season of my life. And that leads me to my second quote, which is from Steve Jobs, that says, "It is only by saying no that you can concentrate on the things that are really important." It is only by saying no that you can concentrate on the things that are really important. And so the first reason that we say no is because it will get you time back. It will get you your time back. When you figure out what it is that you really want, what it is that's important to you, you will then be able to say no to things that aren't fitting that mold, right? Prioritize with purpose. This is what we do. Prioritize Your Purpose is my coaching program that is designed all around this to figure out what is important to you and why. But prioritization is key to this whole thing, because when you're able to prioritize what is important to you, and when you can figure out what that looks like for you in your life, you're able to say no and make decisions super easy by filtering them through this filter of, okay, these are my values, these are my strengths, this is what is important to me at this season in my life. And then I can say yes or no accordingly based on that filter. Okay. Based on that filter, saying no does not mean you're a terrible person or that you aren't going to be liked, right? Saying no, lots of people say no to you probably, and you still like them, right? Like, think about that. It's not like, if someone is not going to like you because of you saying no to something that is not good for you, then they really aren't someone who should be that important in your life anyway, right? Because they do not care truly about you if they're more concerned with you doing something that is to your detriment, right? I want to read a quote from Tracy Malone that says, "You can be a good person with a kind heart and still say no." You can be a good person with a kind heart and still say no. This is so true. And you guys, it is hard to say no, especially when you know someone needs something, right? And that you feel like if you say no, that no one else is going to take that ball, right? Like, no one else is going to take that ball. I have gotten really good at this. Like, I teach jazzercise, right? And I had to say no to teaching jazzercise twice a week, which is what I always did, because of this stage of life, because of my kids' school schedules, and because of this podcast and my business now. I had to decide that I wasn't going to teach. And it was a really hard decision because I knew that was going to mean that some of the other instructors were then going to have to change their schedules and probably take classes that they did not necessarily want to take on teaching, and that people might not like me because of it, right? Because now I was deciding that this really didn't fit in, that I could sub, but I am not going to just compromise what I am doing. And I had to figure out what was important to me in this season. What was the most important? I had to go back to the drawing board. And once I did that, it was very clear to me that I was going to have to say goodbye, in a sense. Like, I still sub and I still do love teaching jazzercise. It's not that that doesn't bring me joy. It's just that in this season, based on when my classes were and all of that, I was going to have to say no for now. Right. And it was a hard decision. And I'm sure there was some pushback, but I did not let that stop me. And you guys, it opened up so much more time for me, because I get to now choose when I sub. I get to now decide if I'm going to take a class or not. It isn't, if I am having a week that is, I'm behind on this or that or the other thing, it's like, okay, I can't pick up a class this week if someone asks. But If it isn't and someone asks, I can pick a class up. It's amazing, right? It's amazing how it can free up time and there's no more time in a day, right? Like we all have 24 hours in our day, but when we are saying yes to things that don't align with everything that we need to be aligned with at this season in our life, then it will drain not only our time, but our energy. And you will not be able to focus on what you need to focus on, which is my second reason. Okay. My second reason is you can focus on what truly matters when you are willing to say no to things. That allows you to focus on what truly matters. Now, the caveat is you have to actually take the time to figure out what truly matters to you and what is truly important to you. And we're going to go through a couple of exercises. Like I said, I was going to make this a 3-parter, right? We're going to break down these 2 reasons in depth and why focusing on number 1, getting back your time and how to do that. And then on number 2, focusing on what truly matters and how to do that as well. I've got some exercises, I've got some things that you can do that I really want to go in depth with to help you with both of these things, but you will be amazed at what this one thing can change for you. It will be a life-changing experience, especially you will feel empowered that you are doing something that is actually mattering. And you're able to do more good when you're in that frame of mind, right? So I have one more quote here to share before we end. And this one is from Greg McKeown. And he says, if you don't prioritize your life, someone else will. If you don't prioritize your life, someone else will. And that is what I don't want for you because when you are just saying yes to things or when you go back to what used to make you happy and you try to pour yourself in, you know you want more for yourself. This is where I found myself, right? Like I knew I wanted more for myself and I tried going back to old things that used to bring me joy, to old things that I used to pour myself into. And it wasn't bringing me that same joy that it used to. And I was doing all the things for all the people, and I was not able to figure out why I still wasn't happy until I took the time to prioritize, right? I took the time to get still, to dig deep, to get clear on what I wanted and why I wanted it. That is the most important part. Why do you want this? What are your strengths? What is important to you at this season of your life? This is, like I said, all of the work that we do in Prioritize Your Purpose, which is my coaching program. I would love for you to go and sign up for that now. But just this prioritization, this saying no is something that will change your life. Because when you don't do that, when you don't take the time to do that, someone else is going to prioritize for you, right? Like you are doing something that's important to someone else. We're going to talk more about this on Thursday. I'm going to go into how you can figure out the things that are important to you and what that looks like. I'll take you through it step by step and really we'll get a little bit deeper on that. But if you really want to go deep into this, please do go to prioritizewithpurpose.com. That's my website, prioritizewithpurpose.com. Click on the button for coaching and sign up for a session for me so we can start prioritizing your life. So you can start to figure out what is the most important thing to you and what is the most important thing for you and your family at this season, and figure out what your strengths are, where you can pour your time and energy so that you do feel fulfilled, so that you are happy again, so that you have that more that you're longing for. And you're not just wanting this more and spinning your wheels, feeling super overwhelmed, super like a hot mess. Like I was all over the place. I was doing all of the things. I was, busy. I was so busy. I didn't think I had time for anything else, right? And I didn't. But what I found was it's making the time for the right things that makes all of the difference. And saying no is the first step to that. But it is hard to say no to things. And when you first start trying it, you may feel like a certain way. And it definitely is a mindset thing, because if you are not strong in your mindset, then you can start to make assumptions about judgments. Maybe that's an episode I should do. Maybe I should make this a 4-parter and we should talk about that as well, because that is something that is so important when you start to say no, is having the mindset that this is what's best for me and my family, and that, the judgment and the whatever that anyone else is putting, or what you might be actually putting on yourself that they aren't putting on you, is not something that you need to worry about. Okay. So I hope this has helped you in some way today. And I cannot wait to share more on Thursday. And then we're going to continue this. I think I am going to make it a 4-parter next week. Okay. So stay tuned. I'll talk to you then. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, Mama. If so, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts and then hit share and send this to a mom who needs this in her day. I'll meet you right here on Thursday. Keep smiling, y'all.